I would say that my higher power was my job. Being a principal of a school with 3,300 kids in it and all that goes with that, I mean, my life was out of whack. My priorities were school, school, school. I had been weak all summer, and they had thought it was a couple other things and rheumatoid arthritis. So I'd been going to the doctor and joints were hurting. On November 26th, well, Joel had made an appointment with me to come see the school, and he was from Park, and so I met with him. And Joel's great. I mean, we hit it off really well. He was trying to connect base with the local high school here. So he said, well, I just want a working relationship with you, and said, my school's your school, so however we can help you, that's fine. So that was the 26th. The 27th, I go to the doctor's office, and she says, Mark, you have leukemia. When I came back from the doctor that day and Googled what I had, the first one that came up is you have 2.5 months to live. The second article that came up that says 1 out of 5 live to 5 years. And so my thought right away was, call Joel. So I called Joel the next day and I said, Joel, you would never believe what happened yesterday. I had a day yesterday. So he said, let me come over and talk. So he came to my house and I told him, I said, I was diagnosed with leukemia. And he said, wow, my son has leukemia. And so when he had said that, he had told me the struggles that his son is going through, had been through and gone through, and I said, wow, you're supposed to be in my life right now. We prayed. He asked me if I wanted to come to Jesus right then and there, and I said, yes, I do. I accepted Jesus in my life at that moment on the 28th of November, and I kind of looked up and just said, wow, I didn't even have to pursue Christ. He was like right behind me the whole time. There was like a shift in my whole thought process. I couldn't wait to go online and look at sermons from the different churches, and that's what I couldn't wait to do. I couldn't wait to get into the Bible. When I was in the hospital, I was so against praying for me because I felt that it was selfish. I didn't want to say, dear Lord, please take this leukemia away from me, because I just felt that that was a selfish prayer and that I wasn't either worthy of it. And then finally I did it. I mean, I just said, can you please take this away and as best you can and just help me out. And then from that day forward, it was like a little bit of progress all the time. I think there comes a point, and I'm not going to generalize everybody's life, but in my life where you realize that you're not running the show. It's especially hard for someone in my position where you're kind of like the director of a show, and now you have to step aside and say, you really have no power over this at all. In one way, it's frightening because you're used to manipulating and running the show. And for a principal of a high school to step back and not being able to run the show, it was difficult, especially when it comes to your life. And so the fact that I had turned it over, it was more of a peace. There is a freedom in not having to run the show anymore that I embraced, and it's calming. So that's the Holy Spirit, Jesus working in my life that had shifted everything. My priorities have changed. They are definitely God, family, school. I've got a couple more chemo rounds to go, but it's okay. I feel at peace with the world right now. The disease could take me in the summertime. Yeah, I could be around for 30 years. I don't know. But to not have God in my life right now, it would be, I've been there, and I'm like a scared little boy, and I'm whistling past the cemetery. I don't have to whistle past the cemetery anymore because it's handled. Everything's going to be fine, no matter what. Even though I don't understand it, it doesn't matter. I'm not supposed to understand it sometimes. That's my dear to you. If you're being stubborn, go home and tell your parents you love them. Even if you got to just go, love you, Mom, and then go in your room. I feel blessed right now that I got this disease, and I'm going to tell you why. It brought me closer to my God. If I would have showed you some things in my life and things I've done that I'm ashamed of now, why would God come to me? Until, people showed me that, what, God didn't always pick the most holiest people in the Bible to do his bidding. Maybe I'm supposed to just touch one person's life in the school and ricochet them into something else. I don't know, but count me in. Hey, sweetie, how are you? Good. Thank you, big guy. Okay, you doing good? Okay, good. Come on, big guy, get to class.